what it looks like when we live.
We live.
Oh, we live. Listen, my brother Mark, it's good to see you another Thursday. Man, we blessed to be here.
Yes, we are, brother.
How are you, brother?
I'm blessed, man. I can't complain, man.
All right, listen, first we want to shout out our parents, man, because both of our parents are dealing with health issues, man. So shout out to Doc, shout out to my mom. We love y'all. You know, without y'all, this wouldn't even be going on. So just know we love you and we there and we thinking about you. Yep. It's Thursday, brother. When the lights go out, man.
When the lights go out, and we got a thriller for y'all today.
Yeah, two very important people. One who's there's no words for who he is. If I could make up some words, I would. He's very, very special to me. You see this picture in the background. I used to work at Arby's, and if you know anything about South Braddock Avenue in Swissvale, there's Arby's there, and growing up with no money, boy, you got to work, man. So I was out there selling them beef and cheddars, brother. I was selling them beef and cheddars, but this man brought this up there, and he just showed me that the world was way bigger than Rankin. He showed me it was way bigger than Pittsburgh. He showed me if you believe something and you put your all to it and you bust your behind, that you could get it. So, you know, without further ado, man, you know, just one of the greatest people in the world. You know, but even before we get to that, I wanted to show everybody a little clip because the other guest is now taking on the task of leading our young men to bigger and better things, and man, and it couldn't be asked of a better person, better man.
Not at all.
You know, our young people gonna be put to it. They're gonna work hard. They're gonna be asked a lot of them.
Yes,
and they're gonna show up and show out, man. And we're gonna be there to support. But I really am showing this clip. It's a football clip, but I want our new coach to understand that when he does big things and when he starts this mission, man, we're gonna be right there supporting him. And I just want everybody to look at the stands and see what it looks like when you got a whole community following you and backing you. And this is what we're gonna do for our new head coach. But producer, please, can you hit play for us?
What? Was that a beautiful day? That was a beautiful day.
This was our first championship, Woodland Hills.
Here it goes.
Woo, and if you pan away from the screen,
look at that, man.
That's the community. Like
I was somewhere on the sideline running around.
This is the Steelers Stadium for those of us that don't know, and this was 1996, and we won the Whitfield Championship, and there's a lot of people to be credited for this. One is my mentor who's here, and he would get no credit for this. But just look at the stands. Just look at the family, the community, the support. And we're going to do that same kind of thing for our new basketball coach. I'm excited. I don't know about anybody else, but I really asked for behind the scenes if I could get another year left to hit the boards, play some defense. I could do something. But so we're going to clip out it, get up out of there. I just wanted everybody to just get a feel of what it may look like when we do win the Whippeals and win the state championship. But without further ado, first, my mentor, everybody's mentor in Pittsburgh. We all love him. We miss him when he ain't in the Burgh, but we know he's doing amazing things for a bunch of other young people. Mr. Raiford Beasley. What's up, Pops?
Mr. Beasley.
What's up, Pops?
Man, it's so good to see y'all.
Pops, it's great to see your face. You always got that $1 million smile.
You got that
really good to see you. When I put up the post that you were going to be on the show, you should see the comments. It didn't take long at all. Everybody, this is my favorite person. You know, he's the best. I can't wait for the show. So, you know, just like myself and Mark, there's a lot of people who are very excited to see your face and just hear from you and be able to talk to you and touch you again. So what's up, Pops? Thank you for joining us.
Well, First off, let me just tell you guys how proud I am of you that you have this advocacy movement, this information movement, and that's critical. I just think you guys did all the work. I just was a conduit. My goal was simple. Number one is I just wanted to make sure that some of the challenges that I felt I faced, being the son of a single mom, that I could be a road grader so that you guys would be able to just develop and highlight your abilities, because I don't know what they put in the water where we come from, but we roll, and as long as we could focus on what was in front of us and not what was behind us, we knew that there was a lot of greatness in our mix, and you guys, you held it down. So I'm just humbled that you feel like I played a role in your lives, and I'm grateful that you remember me, and I'm excited to be here to talk about it.
Amen. Wow. Amen. That's deep, man.
Listen, everybody who comes on here, Mark, see, this is the problem. We got to force flowers on people, Mark. They want to be humble and modest, and we appreciate it, and we love it, man. But that's not what this is for, Mr. Beasley. This is for us to show you love and appreciation for the thousands of people. Listen, if you in the comments right now, and he's touched your heart, he's touched your life in any way possible, man, let it be known. Let it be known, because I know if he crossed your paths, you got some great info, you got some words of wisdom, you got something you can stand on today. So please, if you in the comments, man, please shout out Mr. Beasley, because we love him, we appreciate. You had to do homework before you could hoop.
We should be in that music room. We said to be in that music room. You ain't get your homework done. You wasn't hooping.
You know how many people was mad? You know how many people was mad about that one?
Hey, listen. But I remember clearly people used to be mad as hell they couldn't hoop because their grades wasn't right. Listen, I remember that, man. My grades was cool, so I was cool.
But he kept it packed in there, so that meant he changed a bunch of people who wasn't doing homework to people who start doing homework. So shout out to Mr. Beasley for one of them rules that don't even come if you ain't got no homework. You better find a book. You better.
I remember that, man. I remember it clear as day in the music room, man.
And the funny thing was, I rented out the only gym that was available, so I had it on lockdown. So if you wanted to play indoor basketball, but I still remember the trip to Howard and all that stuff, man.
Yes. Amazing time. Listen, we're gonna get into that. Mark, I want you to go ahead and please, man, introduce our next guest, man. Please.
Next guest, man. Listen, this next guest just got the news last night. Breaking news. The head coach of me and Delrico's alma mater, none other than Woodland Hills High School, new head coach, Eugene Wilson.
Let's go! Let's go!
My man. Congratulations, brother. Congratulations, man.
Hey, man, appreciate it.
Let's go, Gene.
I'm excited, man.
Be humble. I'm gonna be hyped for you, baby. I know my youngest is in good hands, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You be humble, brother.
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead. You be humble. You do the politically correct thing,
right,
but I'm not. It's a big moment, man. It's a big day when you feel like your babies is cool now, man. The young people that you send up there, man, they're gonna get somebody who's gonna kick them in the butt and love them, man.
And love them at the same time. Hey, I appreciate the love, but I have to echo Mr. Raiford's sentiments, man. The job that you all are doing is unbelievable. I've been watching from afar, man. I've been tuning in here and there. And we all go back, man. We all go back. Playing in the summer leagues. I can remember Dale, 9th grade, coming up to Woody High from Wilkinsburg, open gyms. and you still look the same size you are right now. He's the same size then as you are now. But and Marcus still got the prettiest hair in Pittsburgh. Listen. He just added some of this right here. That's just as pretty as this. I'm one of the things you was talking about being in good hands, and kicking them in the butt and showing them love. That's where we came from. The only difference is, might be a little younger and we, can relate to the kids a little bit more. But at the end of the day, it's nothing but old school teachings, old school coaching, mentoring, things of that nature. Like yourself, Mr. Raiford, I'm a product of a single parent home as well. And one of the things that I told myself is when I had kids that I wasn't gonna, disappear. When I, and basketball has allowed, and it was like that for every aspect where I may have had any type of influence in someone's life. So with these kids, coming up, we may not have had certain types of coaching or whatever, or certain types of things that could have helped us advance further along, not just in a game, but in the walk of life and things of that nature, the game of life. And so what I said was I was going to do the most that I could in order to support them. I have great relationships with a lot of former players to this day, trying to help them get to whatever their destination is and get on the right track. So I'm just excited about this opportunity. If you see my background, you see I've been around a little bit. Started off in Wilkinsburg, went to Westinghouse once that shut down. Had the opportunity to become the first Black coach at Baldwin High School. Again, the first Black coach at Ringgold High School.
Tell them, Gene.
And so we're trying to, it's trying to, set a precedent and let them know anything is possible. It doesn't matter where you come from, that anything is possible if you have your mind set forth. Have my master's in athletic coaching and leadership. So this is something that I live for. So I've been around the block a little bit, and I tell people all the time, there were a couple jobs that I had my eye on for about the last 5 years. And people that know me, people that are close to me, know that Woody High was at the top of that list. It was one of two jobs that I had my eye on, and timing was just kind of right. With the administration that's there and some of the things that Principal Woods, Ron Corsi, the board, the direction that they wanted to go, I felt like everything kind of worked and timing was perfect in terms of what these kids needed. From here on out, they need someone that's going to be there consistently. They need someone that's going to go through the ups and through the downs with them. They need someone that's going to, at the end of the year, know that he's there, and we're going to continue to grind and work on weaknesses and perfect our strengths on and off the court. Like you said, Dale, it's not just about hoops. It's about having them get from point A to point B. My whole philosophy is about growth and development and what goes into that. So we're excited. We're excited.
Yo, listen, we are high. Go ahead, Mark.
I'm just glad. The thing is, with the hire, I'm just happy that you got a position to where you got time to develop these kids over the summer.
Right.
You know what I mean? So right. not only do you get a new job, but you get the job right when school's getting ready to end. They got summer.
Exactly.
You get them all developed and gel together with your coaching style, and It's amazing, man. It's amazing. Yeah. It's exciting, man. We're going to make sure that gym's packed, man.
Sure. We appreciate it, man. We want to have a new mindset, and get that energy back and get Woody High. I think I texted Dale and I told him, I said, we want to get it back to the winning ways that you all know, how it was, how you all experienced it.
Right.
So that's the whole goal.
Man, listen, we're proud of you. We're going to continue to say it throughout our hour together as you drop nuggets on us, man. Listen, if you got some young people around you, man, let them tune in. If you're a single parent mom and your son is around you, let them let them watch, let them listen, because just like Mr. Beasley, just like Gene, I come from a single parent home, and if it wasn't for people like Mr. Beasley who, grabbed me up by the ear, kicked me in the butt, and made me do some of the things. Granted, he's, like he says, we got to have some talent. There got to be something there. But the cultivation of it, man, and knowing that somebody's there every day, The knowing that even if they check you and you wrong, you know they're not just gonna leave you. They're gonna mold you back so you right, you know. And me, when I work with a lot of kids, I watched a lot of people, and I've been in residential placements and all kind of things. So you see all kind of craziness. But one of the things that I was big on is just not letting the kid just deal with all of it on his own. Like if I gotta chastise, if I gotta say something stern, then I'm big on molding him back up so that he could walk out with some dignity, walk out and he learned something, walk out and maybe talk to somebody like, yeah, Fletch said this, but he also picked me up and said this. So I know when I was younger, and then a lot of times he'll tell you, I got some pictures that I'm gonna try to post up to get some reaction from Mr. Beasley. I was always the youngest kid in these groups. I remember being 10 and 11 years old, 12 years old, and some of the other guys were 14, 15. So, you know, you catching elbows, you getting beat down, but he seen something in me. So it just made me come back and stick to it and wanting to work. So that's what we trying to do here with some young people. It's called When the Lights Go Out. So eventually those lights are going to go out, but how can you keep them on in other avenues? How can we turn them on in other avenues? And I know with Mr. Beasley, it wasn't always about sports. You know, it was about a whole bunch of other stuff, about being a man, the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, the way you walk. So I emulated that. Mr. Beasley was the coolest man in the world. Like, he was super cool. So it was like, I want to be like him. So listen, if you out there every Thursday, 8 p.m. when the lights go out, have your young people tune in, man, because we're trying to get people, you know, on this show who can really help and it be beneficial to our young people. Mr. Beasley, listen, there's a lot of people out there who love you, who adore you, who thank you, who appreciate you. It's like, what can you say just to all those people? And I know there's more than just Pittsburgh, but I know in our little 15104 section, there's been tons of people that you help, and probably tons of them who haven't seen you in a long time. So I just want to give you 5 seconds, 10 seconds to just kind of say what's up to them people from the past who are out there and watching.
Well, if there's people out there, for those that are out there that crossed our lives crossed, my secret was simple. I just tried to make you feel like I loved you, like I made you. And wow. I never allowed good to be the enemy of great. You can, you know, you set a standard, but you also respond to effort. And I think you can be encouraging forcefully and positively at the same time. And the other part is you had to walk it like you talk it. I tried to be the same person so that you saw consistency, because my goal was that if you trusted me, then I wouldn't have to always debate what the purpose was. Because sometimes I will tell you, there were so many fights behind the scene. I give you a perfect example. Fletch, you remember Woodland Hills had a no-cut policy on the basketball team.
Yeah,
we had as many kids thing like on the basketball team
as the football team.
and so a little secret. I probably had a few behind the scenes, more than a few behind the scenes meetings with the coach to make sure that the lineup was right.
Right.
Because player number 19 and 20 really it was okay for him to be in the uniform, but he was taking opportunity away from guys that really needed that time for college opportunity. And so they weren't offering that job to men of color.
Right.
And so I had to go coach up the coach.
He's not lying.
You know,
wow. Listen, that's honest, and that's from somebody who was invested in us, man.
That's right.
You're not going to just do anything you want to our kids, man. And Gene, you got the full support of this community, 100%. You got anybody you need. Fletch will reach out. Marcus will reach out. We all, Mick Keys will reach out. You got people who will make stuff happen for you, man. If you need something, don't hesitate. Let it be known, and we all there for you, man. Just how Mr. Beasley did us, building bridges and protected us. I mean, he protected us. He wouldn't let no BS happen around us. Like, he didn't let us do no BS, so he wasn't gonna let nobody else do it around us, man. So
he was locking that gym up. He was locking that gym up. You in, you staying in. There ain't no in and out. You come in the gym, you staying here. I mean, just think about how many lives he saved, man. Because a lot of times that was at the era, that was right when things was getting. I mean, things was rough, man.
Yeah,
boys was getting killed left and right, man. And you know, one of the things with him, you come in the gym, you study, you ball. You're not running in and out. And he was at the door. He wasn't just letting anybody in that door, man. I remember I was probably one of the younger dudes in there balling and stuff. So it was just, you know, he was one of the biggest things you just said, Mr. Beasley was I love you. I loved y'all like I made y'all. That was me, man. So, you know, we applaud you, man. We appreciate you. You know, you're truly a blessing, man, from us, man. We love you to death, man.
Hey, hold on. Before you speak, Mr. Beasley, when you say like I love you like I made you. So I'm replaying back as a youngster in my head right now to get an understanding of why you would do what you did for us. And that statement says it all. Because you didn't have to. I mean, I'm a little big head kid from the Palisades, man. And it wouldn't have been nothing to just keep on walking by. You know what I'm saying? But to stop and take interest, it probably saved my life. It probably changed my life. I told you behind the scenes I wasn't going to get all emotional and teary-eyed, you know what I'm saying? But it's the honest to God truth from deep in my heart. Like,
behind the scenes, man, I was all up in your living room.
Yes.
Man, listen, I was chasing you like a debt collector from Capital One. You know, I mean, think about all the talent that came in you guys' era. I mean, it was just amazing, and it was just for me. It was just a question of making sure that there was nothing to block your progress. And so I did the best I could to make sure that you could do what you did. You know, Gene, you said you mentioned Westinghouse, man. Westinghouse turned me into a great baseball player. Man, I went to Westinghouse when they was putting oil on the field to keep the dust ball from going up. But back then, Westinghouse was a monster, man. I can recall teams would come up under that big bridge to get up to the stadium, and people would throw stuff off the bridge at their bus.
Right.
Wow.
So you was intimidated before you ever got off the bus to play football games.
That's Coach Webb, right? George Webb.
Yeah. So you just brought back some memories for me, man. But I will tell you this, Gene, there's a lot of resources. I hear the guys saying they got your back. Well, there's a lot of ways to have your back. And I know some of it is about having former players come in and make sure they contribute, mentor, and all that. Some of it might be financial. You know, what is your vision for trying to make sure that they on point? So I know how to chase dollars, you know, STEM programs. I mean, I'm just reiterating things that's going on now. So I'm just throwing these things out because I know as you start to get a foothold on what you want to do and have the opportunity to expand beyond making sure that they can be successful on the court to what can you contribute to their lives. Well, one of the things I always believed is that I wanted as many of the guys as I could to see what life was outside of Braddock and Homewood and all that. And so so I would I'd set up these tournaments. I still remember the one, you know, I was a fake coach. I remember we had the ball with 2 minutes with the final shot. and I told everybody to get the ball to Reynolds and get out the way. he hit a 3-pointer to put us in the championship. Man,
who, Rick Reynolds?
Yeah, you'd have thought I was John Thompson at the time, man. Hey, Fletch, you remember I was dressed like I was going to a funeral too.
Yeah, you had the suit on.
I was clean. And then we went down. Then took the team down, man. We went down to Howard.
Yeah,
man. I spent my mortgage on uniforms. Remember, I bought them. I wanted y'all to have what do you call them? Them where you take it off where you get your uniform.
Football.
Yeah, man. Warm months, man. I had to duck my mortgage collector for a month, man.
See, these are stories we don't know. We just thinking Mr. Beasley got the bag, man. We don't know the lights might go out.
Hey, he was always cleaning in the bill of health, man. So he was like, listen.
But you know what though? I will tell you that I can't tell anybody what to believe or what to do, but I can tell you that when I needed something, I asked God for it.
That's right. No doubt.
And so I would say to anybody on this broadcast, when you in the midst of a struggle and you need somebody to talk to, and you look to your left and your right and nobody's there, talk to God.
Amen.
You know, it's funny. It's funny when you talk about some of the things, some of the behind the scene things, and Dale, you're talking about you didn't know what was going on. That's the sacrifice that Mr. Beasley made that a lot of people probably don't even realize until you get older and you start putting it together or whatnot. And I like to talk about that, about quality coaches as well, because, we obviously wear multiple hats depending on the situation and the kids and, what they have going on in their lives. A lot of people don't see the behind the scene things. A lot of people don't see us, setting up scheduling for recruiting visits and driving the kids there. Or, if you have a situation where a kid doesn't have no food, you get them a couple cheese, but whatever the case may be, spending extra time with them, following up on them. I had one kid, and I know he's comfortable with me dropping his name because he's like one of my basketball sons. James Ellis. So James was, when I was at Wilkinsburg, he was a sophomore at Westinghouse, 6'11", and he was mud, flat out mud, averaged about 8-9 points a game. He'll tell you that himself. Had people in his ear telling him, you can do this, you can go to the league, you can do all this, blah, 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 blah. There has to be some authenticity that for our kids. Okay, not just feeding them lies and feeding them what we think they can be, but you have to break them down and understand them. You really got to put work into them. So when I got to Westinghouse, I had to strip him down. I had to really strip him down. Myself, some of the players that came over with me that kind of knew my program and knew what we were about. And when he finally did buy in, he was at the top of his class, almost averaged a triple-double, Fab 5. He was all state or whatnot, and then got the scholarship offer to Duquesne University. But this is a kid where if you talk to him years before that, he thought he was going to be a rapper. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it just shows you. One of you all mentioned about, I think it was you, Dale, talking about the talent, fostering the talent. Understanding that there's more to it than just the talent itself. And, we had to open them up to that. And so very, very proud of that young man. And these are some of the things that people just don't see. They don't see the everydayness, so to speak, and the grind that goes with it. We don't coach for dollars and cents. If you have a coach that's vested, one of the things I tell people is their hourly pay should come out to about 50 cents an hour. Because that means it's $365. It's every day of the month. That paycheck dwindles down to nothing. So these are some of the things that I'm looking to bring to Woody High, and I'm hoping that the guys had a down year last year. They were 0 wins. We actually played them when I was at Ringgold, and when I saw them, I saw a lot of upside. And I'm not even talking about talent. I'm talking about attitude. I'm talking about personality. I'm talking about demeanor, the way that they carried themselves. And myself and a lot of other people thought if they had someone that can work with them and mold them, that it could be something special. So we're looking at having a huge turnaround in year one, and hopefully building for the future without question.
Oh, I believe that. I watched some of the games this year. Through Sam Timbers and Craig Thomas's broadcast, man. I watched a few of those games, and they were in a lot of those games. It wasn't a lot of, they weren't getting blown out the water. They were, losing some games in the last 20 to 30 seconds, man. And you got two sport athletes playing for you as well. So knowing that, especially coming from Woodland Hills is known for football. Going into a basketball program with a new coach like you, man, I'd be fired up. I know Fletch would, because we left football season like,
right.
We about to go play. Fletch, I gotta go there. I gotta go there. We playing for somebody. We don't know if he's gonna come to practice one day lit or.
Shout out to the coaches that come to the games and practice lit. That's terrible.
He was at practice and he was at the games and practice lit. So, coming from someone like Gene, coaching. Somebody coaching our kids like Gene, it's a different. It puts you in a different. As a kid, it puts you in a different mentality, man. You coming from a football program where it's on the spotlight and you on the high stage. To coming with Gene, it's going to be amazing, man. So if y'all young guys are listening, man, you better get in the gym tonight. I'm telling you, it's going. It ain't going to be easy, but that's what you want because life is not easy, man. It's not easy.
That's right.
Yeah, don't wait. Get in that gym tonight. Listen, every Thursday, 8 o'clock when the lights go out, man. We got two of our favorite people in the building with us, Mr. Raiford Beasley and new head coach of Woodland Hills basketball, Eugene Wilson. I want to thank both of you guys, man. You mean so much to so many people. Gene, what you said is we know you're not in it for a paycheck because the paycheck, you could throw that out the window.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You are invested in young people, and when young people get that, you'll get a response that we're looking for. You'll get them to do the things you're asking for. Like Mark said, you run through a brick wall for the right coach, man. And we all know we've been there, man. That right coach. When Mr. Beasley used to say, all right, now it's time to turn up the defense and do things that you do it because he got your back. See, and that's what Mark's funny saying what he said about our past coach. And you know Woodland Hills, it's not Coach Furjanic because we had Coach Furjanic on the show, so it definitely so you can get it who it was. But the problem is when we left Woodland Hills, we go down to Rankin and Braddock and in the city with Mr. Beasley, who's a stand-up man who's going to check us and hold us accountable, and he ain't out here drunk every time. See, this is what we see when we get home. But then we go back up the hill, that's who we got to deal with. So a lot of us, we would call BS when we seen BS. Here in that Woodland Hills, they didn't like that. So to have somebody who looks like us, who sounds like us, who walks like us, who talks like us, and I ain't saying in no hood, stupid, degenerate way. I'm talking about the best of us. That's what the coach is now at Woody High. He's the best of us, like very intelligent. You heard master's degree. He carries himself. You want to go follow him? Look how he dressed. Boy, be sharp as attack.
Boy.
Yeah. So there's certain things as black men we need to see. And our young boys need to keep seeing that. Mr. Beasley used to show us that when we were young men.
Right.
Pull your pants up. Walk like this. His sons was well dressed. I'm pretty sure both Sean's right now probably fly as ever right now. Like they carried themselves like they were around a man, and that's what we want to do. That's what we're trying to emulate and have our young people copy, follow. So when I hear you say, I watched them from afar, and they might not have been winning, but their character, their demeanor, their attitude, you can work with that.
Exactly.
You can move mountains with that kind of attitude. So I'll belabor the point, Gene. We are proud of you, brother. We are very thankful. I'm gonna
Happy
keep
to be
showing
here,
this picture because this picture was me when I was 16 years old.
and you still the same size then as you are now.
And Mr. Beasley brought this up to
Man.
my job to just show me something different, like to see yourself in a different light.
Mhm.
And I never had seen myself in an image like that, in a picture. And I show it to just
There it is. There it is.
that's that jersey. So you know, obviously the man has love for Big Head Fletch, man. So that's why part of this is to give love back to him and continue to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so appreciative. Like I said when we first started, there's no words that could say what I really want to say. Because when you don't have a man in your house and somebody shows you how to be a man, shows you and the way a man walks, talks, thinks, how you carry yourself. Just a young black boy from the east side of Pittsburgh, Rankin. Like, there's so many of us that have been lost in the system. So to be able to sit here 20 years later and have this conversation with you, I got the chills right now. Like, I literally got the chills because you brought up going to Howard and HBCUs and that kind of thing, man. You just showed so many of us so many lessons that we still carry today. So just from the bottom of my heart, from people like Johnny Rays and Cooks and Larry Huey's and Tats and Darnell Barksdale.
Yeah.
Because you got a close relationship with him. So people like that, Tennille's and Janae's and all of that. Yeah. Everybody was just like, oh my God, he's such a good. Like, so all of us, Mr. Beasley, like there's so many of us that really, truly, I'm saying thank you from me, but it's from a whole lot of us, man. I tried to bring up this picture of the uniforms you were actually talking about where we having a little bit of trouble because I actually have the photo.
Send that to me. I'd like to have that.
Yeah, I got 2 photos actually, and I wanted to get a take on what you thought, but we just know you sacrifice so much. So from the bottom of a heart, like, and there's so many people out there who are in your position who don't get flowers, who don't get told thank you, who don't really get to feel the love and the energy that they deserve to have. So from us, from Mark, from everybody in Rankin, I mean, from Homewood, from Braddock, I mean, we all just, Mr. Beasley, we say thank you, man.
Shout out to Joe Lafferty too, man. I just seen Joe just donated $100 to Woodland Hills Hoop Boosters Club.
Wow.
Yeah, so
definitely appreciate that. Thank you. You said Coach. He's a Coach Lafferty.
Yeah, so Joe
Lafferty.
So Joe Lafferty is a person like a Mr. Beasley. He's a guy that's behind the scenes. I mean, he when we had our championship run, Gene, we used to wear these wristbands. And we used to hold these wristbands because one of our players, Joe Sperduto, his mom passed away.
Don't let up.
During the game of a North Allegheny game. And they said, don't let up, don't ever let up. So we used to hold these things like real tight. And shout out to Joe and his family because she was our spiritual angel. She carried us to that championship. There was some stuff that happened, Gene. And sometimes in sports, you like, how that happened? Like we had a guardian angel. Like there was some bounces along that way. I mean, Jerome Tompkins intercepts a pass against Erie Cathedral and runs 80 yards now. Like Harry McDowell, 80-yard touchdown for us to win the game. Like this, there was some crazy stuff going on. So the power of that, like it was amazing. And Joe was the one behind that. He brought us all the wristbands. Trish Sperduto. Yep, Joe. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you, man. We love you to death, Joe, because you used to spin out your own pocket to do certain things for us, man. So somebody like you,
man.
He helped Medee. Medee is who Medee is now. Medee is a big quarterback guru. But if you rewind back to when Medee got started, there's some people that need to be, patted on the back. And Joe Lafferty, he was amazing, man. He was that fire behind the scenes that kind of pushed the button. He was Wayne the Train's friend, so I see him all the time, over my best friend AJ's house. So shout out to Joe, man. We really appreciate you because you touched a lot of people as well. But the two men on the screen, Eugene Wilson, Mr. Raiford Beasley. Thursday, when the lights go out, they're giving us gems on how to cut the lights back on, because we all can't make it to the professional ways. We all can't get money like LeBron, but we all can be stand-up, positive men. We can all carry ourselves in a certain manner. That's what Mr. Beasley taught us, and I think that's what Gene is definitely going to teach the young men. So we're ecstatic about what's going on and where the program is headed. Mark, I know you had some things you wanted to say to the gentleman as well, but I could go on and on about Mr. Beasley for hours. We forgot about Gene, man.
It's all good.
Gene, I'm gonna tell you about Gene, man. I went to Lock Haven, man. So the football players tend to go to the hoop games during hoop season. So I'm in the gym. And anytime, you look on the roster and see Pittsburgh boys, I said, oh, man, I know Gene. I know this dude. And I'm telling all my boys, I'm saying, listen, if he get a fast break, he's going to jump from the foul line.
He's going to dunk over.
He's going to dunk on somebody. Sure enough, it might have been 2-3 minutes in the game. He didn't get a fast break. He took off from before the dotted line. I just thought it, because listen, my school wasn't known for winning, so we gonna get. Listen, anytime a hometown boy coming in the gym, I gotta rep my hometown boys too, man. I gotta give him. He balled. He might have had 25, 30, but he definitely took off from the dotted line.
Yes,
I think he caught a tip dunk against them as well. So listen, Woodland Hills is not only getting a great coach, a great human being, but the boy was a bad athlete, and don't think he won't come in the gym and bust y'all's ass. Like,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, listen, and Mark knows.
Yo.
I'm known for being an athlete. I used to have hops, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I walked in the gym, and I was like, "Oh, that brother got hops too." So I knew when that ball was coming off that rim, there was only going to be one or two other people up there. And you look over, and it's Gene right there.
You look at
he up over the rim. And granted, he's a true basketball guy, but he had a football body.
Yep.
So he was built where you wasn't just gonna be bowing him down or getting him up. So when we used to bang in the ear and up, it was Rick. He was amazing athlete. Like when like Mark said, take off, I was impressed because I used to say, I thought I could jump.
Listen, coming from Pittsburgh, you got a few names that you hear about. You hear about Biggs from Oliver. You hear about Boo Man from Oakwood. Shotty Jenkins from Oakwood. There's so many guys that I can name so many people that had hups. But you go to Wilkinsburg, you gonna hear about Gene.
Shout out to Booper too. Mr. Beasley, thinking about Booper. Hold on, let's bring Mr. Beasley in on this conversation because Mr. Beasley showed me that I was not a basketball player when he brought Booper to the gym. He said,
"The real deal.
Sit down and watch somebody play basketball." So I had to really literally sit at the half court line. He would not let me play in this game, and I watched Booper take everybody that I thought was good in 15104. And he destroyed them. I'm talking about everybody. Listen, I had Chad Corley Cook up here, and I still did because Cook could play defense like crazy. He took Cook to the shed. He took everybody to the shed.
Everybody.
He watched Kobe. He watched Kobe in the Olympics, man.
Right.
Boo.
Yeah, he was.
Boo was on Boo was on a whole nother level, man. I remember I was some years behind Boo, and he was the type of person that you looked at and you learned from, and you try to implement stuff that you learned from him, try to put it in your game.
Right.
He was that type of person. But not only that, you talk about stand-up men in the community and the way people carry themselves. He was one of those guys.
Right.
Every time you see him respectful, would talk to you, pull you to the side, whatever the case may be. So he's a great. He's one of the greats to come out of Pittsburgh for sure.
Yo,
I remember Book with the goggles. Remember Book with the goggles? I remember Book with the goggles when him and my brother Kenny played football together in Wilkinsburg, man. And I remember as a little boy watching Booper with the goggles, man. And then seeing him growing into what he grew into, playing against Nixon. See, them games at Kennard, man. See, people missed out, man. You go up Kennard and Ammons and see them dudes play.
Yeah.
It was like Pittsburgh don't get enough credit for our basketball. And them dudes,
Ozenham.
Phenomenal, man.
Shout out to D Porter out there. It's still in Ozenham.
For sure. Yeah. Manchester, the league out Manchester was good for a little while too. The league out Manchester was good. One of the things that I want to know if you all could talk about is being competitive, right? You talk about foundations that are set. Mr. Beasley set foundations for people, how you walk as a man, how you talk as a man. You probably honoring your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. But even being competitive and how that transfers over to the game of life. Because when you're competitive, you are you're like, you have a point to prove. And you're going to get in the zone and you're not going to let nothing derail what you're trying to do. I mean, that's how I see competitiveness. So when we used to ball and we used to go head to head back in the day, Dale, it was, I'm not going to let him get the best of me. He's not going to let me get the best of him. What do I need to do to come out on top, right? You're focused, right? You're focused. This is one of the things I want our kids to have today is a high level of competitiveness. Understand how to compete, right? Understand what goes into competing because there's a lot of discipline that goes into competing. You can't compete and be emotional at the same time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So for you to get from point A to point B, when you're making decisions in life, when you're making decisions, if you go hit that joint before a game, when you're making decisions, are you going to go left or you go right? You have to think about the outcome. You got to think about when you get to point B, what is it going to look like? So my thing is you got to stay focused. And I just really want our kids to make great decisions. One of the big things that I'm looking at is grades, eligibility, right? Every team I had, we've averaged nothing less than a 3.2 GPA for the team, right? Coaches, to me, part of our responsibility is to check up on kids and to follow through. Follow through is what it is, right? So we want them to be competitive. We want them to be focused. We want them to have goals, and we want to help them get from point A to point B so that men like yourselves so they can become men like yourselves, have the Mr. Beasley, have that Mr. Beasley effect, so to speak. I think I might put that in quotations, the Mr. Beasley effect.
Yeah, the Mr. Beasley effect sound good. Hey, Gene, sound good to me.
Hey, Gene, I would also ask you to consider that the game should be easier than the preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So when they walk off the court at the end of the game, they might not even be winded.
Exactly.
I think one of the things they'll learn is that their fitness will enhance and highlight their focus.
Correct.
Because when you get tired, you start changing your steps. You're not in the right place. You're trying to hide your tiredness. You're trying to cover it.
Right.
But if you fit, if you're ready, I think that lends itself to mental toughness and to confidence. So just make sure that the body fat is low. They'll love it.
Right. And Gene, I'll tell you this. On my end, I know when I started to see a change, especially at Woodland Hills, and you're dealing with high school kids, but when I started to see the changes, when you talk about competitiveness, we competed at practice with each other. So at the end of practice, when we ran what were supposed to be conditioning sprints, for conditioning in the game, we actually ran them things like they were real sprints. Like I could vividly remember looking over at the whole squad of DBs and receivers, and we take off like if it was a 100-meter dash, but we had to run 10 of these things, but all 10 of them was like that because I'm not trying to lose even to my teammate.
Exactly.
So it'll transfer into life. I know when I got to Rutgers, my first 3 years were awful. We were getting beat up. There was a lot of people who had no idea how to play the game of football. They had all these stars and came with all it. They were terrible. There's no doubt about it. And then with being terrible, we didn't have the greatest coaches. I had a coach who wouldn't. I went practices without even catching the ball. I love Rutgers, and that's terrible. I should have left the day that happened. But my last coach, Greg Schiano, shout out to him because he filled in a whole bunch of stuff in a 1 year's time span. Right. Of what he did was made everything competitive. I'm talking about pool games, wiffle ball, walking up the steps first. Everything became a competition. So now when you leave that football field, it's okay, this person wants that job, but they're not going to compete like me for that job.
That's right. Exactly.
So this person wants to do this, but they don't want it as bad as me. Because to play sports, I had to go to class. I had to sacrifice this. I had to watch film. I had to lift weights. I had to study for school. Then I had to take care of my little brother and sister. And then so there comes a sacrifice that when that competitive thing is in you and you light that torch, you can't turn that off. So that's definitely something that we want to have our kids. And, this day and age, everybody's getting participation trophies and that kind of thing. Nah, we're not trying to do that, man. We got enough issues with coddling young boys and babying boys. No, we off that, man. You're going to earn everything you get. You're not going to be getting an inch. But when you get it, the reward is going to be 10 times what you thought it was going to be because of the work you put in. So listen, shout out to you, man. Shout out to Mr. Beasley for instilling stuff like that in us. And Gene, listen, 100, brother. Push them, get on them. I know they mother. Mark know they mother. So we on these young boys.
Listen, this message goes out to the moms. The moms, this goes to the moms and dads, the grandmas, the granddads, whoever got these kids in this program. Allow Gene to coach your kids. Don't get involved. Don't get into political stuff. Let this man coach your kids. That he gonna scream at them. He gonna tell them stuff that they might break them down, but he's going to build them back up. That's right. Today's society is not built for softness. You're gonna have to be calm, man. So let this man lead these kids and let's support him, man. Let's get behind him, man. It's time. It's time.
That's it. I want to see the best for Woody High, man. I want to see the best for the Wolverine family. Trust me, this is almost like I had one of my Tiger brothers. They Wilkinsburg Tiger brothers. They hit me up today, and they said it's not Wilkinsburg, but it's close to family. It's almost like family. There's a lot of connections. There's a lot of connections to the Woody High family that I've had. Over the course of 20, 30 something years. You two guys being part of that. And so I have nothing but love. I mean, when Odell Miller was there, Odell was my assistant coach at Wilkinsburg. He was my assistant coach. Mick Keys.
My brother.
That's my cousin. Mick Keys is my family. People don't know that. So like, there's a lot of,
told you connections.
Huh?
I was sitting here and Fletch was talking. I said, listen, man. I knew Gene was gonna get this job. He needed. We blessed, man. We happy.
So secretly, we've been keeping an eye out and was hoping. Look, so when we shouted you out for the show, we was kind of, we got our ears to Woody High. It's not that big of a community, so we was hoping and praying. And we was just gonna let you let it out the bag, but then it happened right before the show. So
right before the show,
it made it extra special, man.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
I was hyped last night. I was ready to do some slides and everything, some slides and turns. You know what I'm saying? Some dive on the floor, ball drills. I was ready, man. But listen, when Thursdays, 8 p.m. when the lights go out, cash apps are on the bottom. If you feel like you're learning something and we've been entertaining, man, you feel like you want to donate, please do so. Tell a friend to tell a friend every Thursday, 8 p.m. when the lights go out. Tonight we got new Woodland Hills basketball coach Eugene Wilson in the building, and everybody's favorite mentor, man, young person builder, Mr. Raiford Beasley. Listen, we didn't go into much about what you're actually doing now, but please, Mr. Beasley, enlighten everybody what you're doing with the golfing and how long you've been doing it and what you're trying to do with it. So enlighten us a little, please.
Wow. Well, when you asked me to be on here, I'm involved in so much stuff. I had to write this stuff down. I moved here in 1997, and over the course of that time, my wife and I, we've fostered over 40 kids and adopted a few special needs kids. It's not all this is not in chronological order, but up until January, I was the president of the NAACP where I live here. Part of this something called SEAC, Special Education Advisory Committee, for my school district, making sure that resources and opportunities are made available for kids with special needs, or what we now call exceptional education. I was the athletic booster president for football down here for a while. Stuff like PTA, foster care. Right now, what you were referring to is I've been for the last 15 years working to create a STEM golf program to put in our school system, and all of that has come to fruition. In fact, on Monday, there's a ribbon cutting ceremony for facilities. I was able to advocate for our county turning over our only golf course to First Tee, so that kids of color would have the opportunity to learn how to play golf. And currently organizing something called HBCU Day, where we can get the Black colleges involved with working with kids, because really there's very few Black golfers on Black college teams.
Yep, right. Yep.
And so, the reason for that is you don't wake up in 9th grade and decide I want to be on the golf team. You have to start out like in 3rd and 4th grade, like people that don't look like us do. And so all of that is kind of come to fruition. So I'm doing a lot of the same things that you guys inspired me to do. When you get involved in something and you feel like it's succeeding, you try to stick with it. And so I just tried to continue to do the things that I did down here. But I gotta say this, man, 2 things. As a man, I married up. I married a wonderful woman. And you think about all the things that I was doing. Well, I'm humbled by my sons, because I put a lot of what could have went into them into everybody else, and they accepted it and understood it. And I think they have life friendships because of it. But my family, thankfully, allowed me to try to do the things that I did, and I'm just humbled that you guys are still around and remember some of that stuff and feel like that I contributed to your accomplishments. But my attitude was the same as it was as a basketball coach. I couldn't coach a lick. But what I could do is allow the opportunity for you to be free. So I never told you what to do other than just keep the ball moving.
Just keep the ball moving.
Keep the ball moving. The only rule was if you were in position to shoot it. But if you didn't, if you were a hog, you were gonna be on the bench beside me.
Mr. Beasley, I got a question for you, Mr. Beasley. You talking about this golf thing real quick. What's your handicap?
My driver and my putter. I tell everybody that I'm Tiger Woods' older brother in the woods.
In the woods.
That's hilarious.
But golf for me was really a lifesaver. You see, it actually I'm a disabled veteran.
Okay.
And I suffered from severe chronic pain, and I was in the midst of some of my stuff, and my high school friend, my brother, my mentor, introduced me to golf, and so I've been locked into it ever since. So in fact, I played before I came here. I had to man, that son will beat you down. I had to go put eye drops in. Y'all might have thought I was smoking something before I came on. My eyes
Mr.
were so
Beasley
red.
is a different Mr. Beasley now.
You know, it's just amazing, and it doesn't. You can do all the other things you do and still do this. And so I'm working on golf for kids with special needs, just staying busy. But I want to go back to Eugene because I'm coming back. Now that I see you guys are really locked in on each other, I'd like to really come back there and see if we can do something to for the community, but also to make sure that we inundate you with resources so that you can be successful. Because I don't think you're going to have a problem. For me, and maybe I'm wrong, for me, it was never about the talent on the court. It was always about what happened after we left.
Exactly. Right.
Because that was the thing that was important to me. I follow Fletch a lot, and so I made sure I stayed connected. You mentioned Darnell Barksdale. I still remember him as Mo. I think I was inspired by how hard he worked to get beyond his circumstance.
Right.
I remember going down to his graduation at Morehouse. So you just, I will tell you this: a kid will be with you forever if he know that once he's in, he's in.
That's right. That's right.
And so when they get through your program, he's gonna still love you. He's gonna come back with his kids. He's gonna still love you. Because there'll always be something you'll be able to impart on him, and he'll trust you for it because he know what you invested in him. I kind of feel that's what's happened here with Delrico. He knows that I've always loved him. He mentioned a whole bunch of people on here that know that I love them, and I see a lot of them. And to be honest with you, sometimes people ask me how many kids I have. I say 25.
There's a bunch of us.
Yeah, I tell them I didn't make them all. I got them from the BFAA, the Black Folk Adoption Agency. And so we as men have this, we have this history of loving other people's children like they're our own.
Right. That's true.
I see that in you men. And so I think that's the key. When you're a coach and your kids know that you are locked in on them, that it's more than just basketball to you. That because they can hit a jumper is the least important thing to you about them. Then they give their all. Then you can talk to them like you made them and they listen. None of those guys ever disrespected me. If I could say that there was anything that I took from my experience, is that none of the guys or ladies ever disrespected me, but I never disrespected them either.
Yes, that's key.
That's key.
That's key.
Because you don't know if you got a player who's going home to a brother and a little brother and little sister, and he gotta be the man of the house while his mom's out there trying to keep a roof over their head.
Yeah.
Does that sound like something one of y'all at least is familiar with?
Yeah.
So I remember that. I remember those experiences, you know, and I'm also humbled that the moms allowed me to play that role, because you know, I heard you saying parents let him coach your kids. Well, the parents let me be who I was. They trusted me with their children, and I tried to honor that trust.
And he said you had a few white kids too.
Yes.
That's Michael Paul Wallace Jevons said, and you had a few white kids as well.
He said he loved you, Mr. Beasley.
Yeah, well, amen. We was doing diversity before diversity was a word.
Yeah, before it was a word, we was fighting through it, especially at Woodland Hills, especially.
Yeah,
especially.
So you guys made it. You worked through sports was a great experience in your life, but all that stuff outside of sports was a challenge. And you guys became men because you sharpened your iron on the challenges, and you came out of it. And as a result of it, now you are taking care of other people's babies.
Yeah, listen.
And so you're thanking me. I'm thanking y'all. I'm thanking y'all.
This is just a bridge that you extended to us, that we've extended it to other people as well. So I'm a card-carrying member of the Raiford Beasley School. I passed. I don't know what I got, but I know I passed.
You were an A student.
We are thankful. We are very thankful to both of you men. There's just no other way to say it. We're proud of you. We think that we're thankful, Mr. Beasley, that you just took an interest in us. Gene, we thank you for the journey that you're about to embark on. I mean, you've already, Westinghouse and Wilkinsburg, you've already touched a bunch of their young people, and still will, even as the coach of Woody High. But we're thankful, man, and we're ready for this journey. We need to get back to winning. We got too many athletes and players over there. So, like Mark said, families, let your young men be coached, man, so that you can see some growth in them. You can see the development in them. Sometimes it's good to hear somebody else's voice. Listen, when the lights go out every Thursday, 8 p.m., we're trying to bring you powerful shows, especially men who look like us, who sound like us, who talk like us, because I think it's very important. When I was a young man, anytime there was a black man who spoke on TV, it was riveting. Like, it made me stop. It made me listen. So to have 4 men up on this screen, it's pretty powerful, man. So if you got young people out there who are listening, who are free, put them in front of this computer every Thursday, 8 p.m. I promise you, on everything I love, they will get some gems from somebody who has helped us, who's helping the community, who will be beneficial for your young people. Yeah, Gene, go ahead, brother.
Real quick, how can we support you more, and you and Marcus, and what you all are doing? What can we do, even if it's financially, behind the scenes? What can we do to support you more?
Man,
listen. But go ahead, brother.
Share, man, and if you got anything that you think we can improve on, I mean, let us know, man. Everybody, that goes for everybody. If you know that that we lacking in somewhere, or we need something, listen, we will gladly take some advice. Like Fletch said, always tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Just share, and we shoot from the hip, man. We've been through it, whether it's with sports, life, fathers, we've been through it, man. We love each other, so there's never been a competition with him. That's my big brother right there. You know what I mean? He helped me out in so many ways to develop as not only an athlete but as a person. So anything that you can critique us on or offer us or anything, man. We got cash apps and stuff. The money's going to we donated to. We pick different things, man. That we use the funds, man. Whether it's Gene's Booster Club or underprivileged kids, whatever it is, man. It's nothing, for us to profit off or anything like that. But that's it, man. That's basically what Fletch can add to that.
Listen,
I would listen, Delrico. I don't know if you've done this already, but I would really encourage you for the platform that you've created. If you have not created a 501c3, we need to have a conversation.
yeah, me and Mark was just talking about that the
Okay,
other day.
so I help build nonprofits for Black organizations, and so this is a way that you can get resources directly through him versus having to donate funds to and I don't know the process, Gene, but I'm assuming based on past that when there's funds raised for your program, they typically have to go through the school. But if you have an outside organization that's a nonprofit,
right,
they can do whatever it is they want to do and then donate stuff directly to you. And so, Delrico, we're going to have a conversation about the development of a 501c3, because I think you have, with this platform that you're on, I think you can do amazing things to generate revenues. Gene, I would tell you, you need to create a bucket list. I mean, and not, you need to write down everything that you feel is a part of what you need now and in the future. Put it down, put it out, so we can start to check those things off. Okay, but so I noticed there was someone in the chat that had asked for my information. So if it's okay, I'm gonna share that.
Please do.
Please.
That was Andira Anderson, by the way, Mr. Beasley.
So my phone number is 804-337-7201. My email address, and this tells you how old I am, it's rbeas23560@aol.com.
Wow. Y'all up.
Right. So if there's
don't just go calling my pops either just because you got the number, man. Listen, all the old ladies, don't go calling my pops, man. Yeah. You see, he's talking about his wife, he married. I know he look good. Don't go blowing his phone up, man.
Listen, I take all calls because I know how to control the conversation. But for everybody that's out there that's trying to do something, I don't care what it is. If you've got a business, if you've got a community program, if you're thinking about starting one, if you need a job, I've got resources in Pittsburgh. I've got resources here and other places around the country. So don't hesitate to reach out and see if there's something that might be available to you. And I told Delrico, I live right now in what I believe is one of the best run counties in the state of Virginia, if not the country. I never imagined that I would be living on the doorstep of the capital of the Confederacy, and feel safer living here than anywhere else I've ever lived. It's sweet here. Gene, I hope I can convince you to put your team on a bus. All you need to do is tell me you want to bring them here, and I will treat them right. But if you want to get them away from their environment and bring them down where they can just work on basketball, I got all the resources for you to do a weekend trip with them. So basketball camp. So I'm looking forward to being a part of you guys' lives. I'm excited. You do what you do. And
this is powerful, man. Like the bridge is being built right live on screen right now. We're gonna go behind the scenes. We're gonna have this thing popping. But Mark was being modest. Listen, it's 2021. You seen the Cash App go on the bottom. This thing doesn't pay for itself. It really doesn't, man. So $5, $20, $15, all of it helps, man. But also with that, if you got resources that we could use, man, that's what we really need, man. We need to build bridges of these resources and come together. So Gene got Mr. Beasley now. We're gonna go ahead and do that. So we making it happen on When the Lights Go Out. But listen, the Cash App's on the bottom. Every Thursday, 8 p.m. When the Lights Go Out. Another powerful show. Two of the best people in the entire world, man. Entire world. Mr. Raiford Beasley, he's everybody's favorite mentor, counselor, stepdad, godfather. just great man to be around and have in your corner. As you can see, he's already trying to make things happen with Gene and the Hoop Squad. And hey, Gene, hold him to that because he's gonna come. That he's gonna take you.
I'm definitely gonna hold him to that. We'll
he's gonna have the boys on a nice trip, man. So honestly, Gene, from the bottom of my heart, when he's saying that, exchange the info. You know what I'm saying? Hit him up in his messenger and all that kind of thing. And I mean, he gave out his info. But listen. Another powerful one. And Gene, from me and Mark, if you need us to holler at the young boys, I'm not in the city right now, but there ain't nothing wrong with Zoom. There ain't nothing wrong with that. And if I got to come home, it's nothing to be there, Gene.
No problem.
You really got the support, brother. You don't have to take on nothing alone because we know Woodland Hills can be funny behind closed doors. And that's just what this business is.
Right.
So just know you got support, man. You got a lot of support.
Can I just one little thing? Can I say one little thing about that?
Please.
So I've been looking at the screen at the bottom, and I've seen this cat, Dave Tate.
Yes,
right. My best friends growing up.
Okay, so a while back he had put a question up, and the question was, for me, Coach, what makes this transition to what he has so special? What you just heard Fletch just talk about. That's why it makes it so special. That's one of the reasons why. At the preset of the show, where they showed the community, backing the student athletes and so on and so forth. That's what makes this transition so special, because I know for a fact that the community, people like Mr. Beasley, you know, alumni like yourselves, you want the best for anybody that is affiliated with Woodland Hills or the Woodland Hills School District, right? Now, this is no knock to anywhere else that I've ever been. No knock whatsoever, right? But I've been around, and I've coached all different types, and I've coached in all different types of environments and cultures, right? As a coach, as a person, as a man, when we talk about growth and we talk about growing, some of the things that you have to understand is what's your strengths, what are your weaknesses, where do you thrive, and where do you have challenges at, right? So when I look at my career, where have I thrived at? I've thrived at Wilkinsburg. I've thrived at Westinghouse, right? I've had the experience at other places in different cultures or whatnot. No knock, like I said, no knock. But the reason why this is so special is because now I'm back to where I'm going, where my program is going to be able to thrive and have such an impact. Not stating that we didn't impact other kids, but it's a little different. Like you said at the onset, when you're seeing the same color, when you're hearing the same type of voice, you're getting that type of message. It's a little different. It's a little different.
Definitely a little different, Gene. And when they see you dress up in the suit, they may have never seen it. They may have never seen a man in their life dress up in a suit except for in the casket, man. But that's powerful, man. Like when you see that, you be like, oh, okay, that's how it's done. You know what I'm saying? So more than just we talk about it, a lot of time it's visual. When we see it, then we can emulate it. Then we can do it. When I seen Michael Jordan, when I seen certain athletes, when I seen Jerry Rice, and I'm like, okay, I could be one of them. Right. I could do certain things like that. So having people like Mr. Beasley has been amazing, and we're going to continue to support and help young people. If you out there and you hear the voice, please share the show. Tell a friend. Sorry, I know my program director's in the back, and I used the wrong word. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. Tune in on Thursdays, 8 p.m. when the lights go out. We're going to try to hit you upside the head every Thursday with special guests who will drop some knowledge, give you some insight and some wisdom, especially for young people who are on the sports journey, who when the sports is over, you got to deal with life. So have your coaches and everybody set you up.
That's right.
To deal with life. So that's where when the lights go out come from. So we want to say again, Eugene Wilson, we appreciate you, Mr. Raiford Beasley. We appreciate you.
Before you sign off, though, I'm not sure how to go about putting in my information up here, but I want to pledge $100 too. But you got to text me how to do it in Zelle.
I'll text after this, Pops. I'll talk to you.
Okay.
That's that AOL 1 2 3.
Exactly. I got AO. Hey, I got AOL skills.
That's all good. That's all good.
Yeah, that's funny, but that's real, man. I love y'all. Mark, I love you. I appreciate
Love
you,
you
brother. Sometimes, we do a lot of giving flowers to everybody else, man, but you've been here from the first day I called you and had these ideas, and we always talk, man. You've been right there, man. Listening, I call you at weird times. I know you like, man, he calling me again, but I'm invested in this, man. So I love this. I love seeing the smiles. I love having my people on the screen because I know what it did for me. And like I said a few episodes ago, I'm a mentor, a counselor, therapist kind of thing, and this is my own therapy. So
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm tricking everybody else to be my therapist. So I appreciate y'all. But no, I love y'all. Again, every Thursday, 8 p.m. when the lights go out. Gene, once more, congratulations, brother.
Thank you,
We
brother.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you, brother.
We love you. We salute you. We here for you, Mr. Beasley. I love you. Thank you for everything from the bottom of my heart. I knew this show was going to go over. Sorry. I'm sorry. It was only supposed to go to 9. I apologize, fellas.
It's
But I
all
love
good.
y'all. See y'all again next Thursday.
No
Y'all
doubt.
make results, not excuses on YouTube. Check us out. Peace.